All right, I want to get to know you a little bit better, but first I want you to get to know me. Let's get straight into it.
All right, Toby, explain who you are without saying what you do for work.
I think the using your job title when you introduce yourself is a bit of a trap that a lot of people and myself used to fall into, and just identifying yourself as what your career is or what your job title is. So I like this question to kind of dig a bit deeper into who you are and what you're about. And for me, that's fulfilling, living up to my potential, actualizing it in reality, and enjoying the process of doing that every day.
What goal are you proud of but wouldn't chase the same way again?
I'm proud of running my PR marathon, 3 hours and 18 minutes. But I probably wouldn't chase it the same way again because A, it landed me in hospital, and B, it was kind of counteractive to the real goal of what running a marathon a month meant to me. It was all about consistency and proving to myself that I could take difficult actions repeatedly and just become a consistent person. And so when I decided to try and run a PR marathon and I got my 3 hour and 18-minute time, that was not me being consistent running a marathon, and it put in jeopardy the fact that I might not have been able to run the next marathon if I was injured. And like I said, I ended up in hospital, so that was probably me pushing myself maybe a little bit too hard. I definitely learned a lot in that experience, and I think it's good to push yourself beyond your limits occasionally just to test what you're really capable of. But if I look back on it, the real goal there was to be consistent, and running a PR marathon, it wasn't aligned with that goal. And I think there's a little bit of ego involved, definitely, of me just wanting to prove that I could run fast, because when you're running marathons consistently, you're running them pretty slowly and it's not that impressive. Um, so yeah, looking back, I wouldn't chase that goal the same way.
What's something you used to think success would fix?
I used to think it would fix any sort of deficit in your character. Like if you had any insecurity or you had a lack of self-belief, I used to think that success would be the thing that would fill that hole. I do not think that that's true. I think that that's a trap that a lot of people fall into when they're striving towards or setting goals for themselves. Is they think that achieving this thing is going to fill some goal or some belief that they have for themselves. But really, I think it's taking the action and building the proof that you are that type of person that can do these things. That's what fills those deficits. But yeah, I think it's a trap that a lot of people fall into.
What has entrepreneurship taught you about uncertainty?
Yeah, that it's a reoccurring issue. It's never going to go away. Yeah, there's always going to be a lot of uncertainty, and entrepreneurship just puts that at the forefront of your mind, or as a challenge that you always have to face. I think there's entrepreneurship. You're constantly having to take action without knowing exactly what you're going to do or what you need to do. There's always a lot of unknowns that you run into, a lot of challenges that you don't expect you're going to have to face. And so it's like constant practice of facing that uncertainty and taking action towards it, more than any other like pursuit in my life has ever faced me with. So it's definitely taught me that uncertainty is a guarantee, and it's almost like something that you have to pass through to get the things that you want. If you want to build the traits of the person that you want to become, or you just want to improve yourself, develop as a person, there's going to be uncertainty in the actions that you're taking, and uncertainty of the belief of whether you're going to make it to your goal or not. And I think entrepreneurship is the perfect vessel for practicing taking action towards that.
What's something you're still trying to forgive yourself for?
I think there's a tendency to always believe that you could have made the better decision for yourself earlier in retrospect. Like knowing that I worked a job that I knew I didn't want to be in for 3 years, I can look back and say, oh, well, I should have just made this commitment to living the life that I wanted and becoming the person I wanted to be earlier. And that, can feel like wasted time. And that's definitely something that's hard to let go of. And I think it's just a natural tendency to think, in hindsight, everything's 2020. You know exactly what the perfect decision is. But yeah, it still plays on my mind a little bit for sure.
What's one way you used to delay happiness without realizing it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here in Mexico City now, and I've been moving around different countries in South and North America for 2 months. And this has been a plan for over a year when I booked my flight to come here and start living this digital nomad lifestyle. But there was a time when I was back in Melbourne before I left where there was only 2 months that I was going to be living in Melbourne before I left. And I wasn't treating that 2 months like I was going to treat the 2 months that I was in a new place across the world. And I thought, why am I delaying the enjoyment and the mindset of having this experience in a place just because it's where I've always been? Like the fact is that I'm only going to be there for 2 months in Melbourne, even though it's the place that I've lived and grown up. Um, I delayed the kind of satisfaction and the happiness of, oh, I'm going to be in a different new place, and I wasn't living that in the moment. So going back, I would definitely just make that mindset shift.
What do you think success looked like when you were younger?
I think when I was younger, I used to think success was showing off how much money you had. Like it was the type of car that you drove, the type of house that you lived in, like your material possessions, and how much you flexed the money that you had. And I think that's changed a lot. I don't believe that true wealth is really the material possessions you have. And I know I personally, I want to live off 10% of the money I make. And I'm not really interested in watches or cars or flexing to other people about how much money I make. I think it's a pretty shallow way to go about life. And I don't think it's a particularly rewarding thing to do or really helpful for actually becoming a successful person. So yeah, that's what I used to think, but it's definitely not what I think now.
What are you currently uncertain about?
What am I currently uncertain about? I think because I take a very specific set of actions every day, and I've proven to myself that I can do that consistently, and I'm pretty sure that those are the actions that are going to get me towards my goal. I don't have much uncertainty about whether I'm going to reach my goal or not, which I think is the problem that most people find themselves with is uncertainty of whether they're going to, reach the goal that they've set for themselves, if they're ever going to make it there. But I think the fact that I've decided I'm never going to give up and I've proven to myself I'm consistently putting in the work to get there, that's not really what comes to mind when I think about what I'm uncertain about right now. I guess I would say I'm uncertain about what level two is going to be. I've recently spent a lot of time thinking about how you need to face the challenges of the level you're currently at. And so right now, that's level one for me. There's certain challenges that I have to face. And in the past, I was trying to solve level three, level four, level five challenges ahead of time. But the reality is you don't know what those challenges are, and you're really just creating possible solutions to problems you don't know exist. And so I'll admit I don't know what the level two problems are going to be, but I know that I'm working on the level one problems right now and I'm going to get there. But that's an uncertainty that I'm willing to face once I get there.
What do you hope people feel after watching your videos?
I hope they feel a little bit inspired to dream a bit bigger for themselves, to realize that they probably have a lot of potential and maybe they haven't thought deeply enough or realized that there's a chance that they can go out there and live the dream life that they want. I know that's kind of the experience that I went through when I had a big life change. I kind of realized that okay, I'm in control of my life. I get to make the decisions about the life I want to live and what that's going to look like. Excuse the loud Mexican motorbikes in the background. But yeah, I hope people expand their potential when they watch my videos and feel motivated to go about fulfilling it and enjoying the process of doing that. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed getting to know me a little bit better. Now, I want to get to know you. So, in the comments, let me know what a day in your dream life looks like.
That'll be all.
Cut it is a wrap. See you in the next one.